Warm welcome back to the Ref Show with Keith Hackett and Mark Halsey. Now then, as with the dressing room, should what's said on the field stay on the field? And of course we've had a classic instance in the past few days where that hasn't happened, referring back to Everton's controversial Capital One semi-final defeat to Manchester City, when we all know that Raheem Sterling crossed the ball from behind the goal line for a key City goal. Martin Atkinson in charge, Scott Ledger was on the line, and Everton skipper Jagielka chose to make a point afterwards, branding Atkinson arrogant, saying that he tried to have a word with him after the game, and Atkinson just said, "Your defending was brilliant," in sort of sarcastic. Now, I'm sure that's not an unusual exchange between a player and a referee for a start, is it?
No, listen, banter goes on the field of play, and obviously I can't sort of talk about what sort of banter, because obviously we're in front of the cameras, but it goes on, and that's what players like, and that's how you get your respect from the players. But there are times where things happen that you feel there has a mistake that's been made, but you're not sure, so you go with your original decision, and you just put your hands out and say, "Listen, sorry if I've made an error, I apologise." And then that brings the players back down, and they accept that. But it also, you know, if that player respects the referee, you don't get players coming out and talking about what's said on the field of play.
So you think there was a lack of respect between the Everton players and the referee in that?
I think in a heated situation where Jagielka is obviously upset because he's seen the ball go out of play and a goal result from it, so you can understand the players upset. I think the first rule for young referees, the education point, is when you've had a controversial decision, get out of the way. You know, in a situation a goal scored, go into the other half of the field of play. If the player then follows you and starts arguing, just brandish a yellow card, overcome the problem. I think that when you're refereeing out there, the reality is, I think the relationship between players and referees is somewhat different than it used to be in the past. Yeah. Even in Mark's days, I think there's less of the personality player, less of the personality referee.
Pity, eh?
Well, I think that effectively what you need to do is if you're going to make comment, don't comment about the player's ability, because you wouldn't want a player saying to you that you're absolutely garbage, or you're cheating.
But that happens. Referees have to accept that kind of criticism. So what's wrong with a referee occasionally just making a little snark?
I agree. I mean, I've had many times when players have said to me, "You're having a mare today, Halsey." You know, and I would say, so well, that makes two of us. You know, I'm having a mare. You ought to look at yourself. Or I'd run back up and say, "Oh, you should be playing rugby today with a shot like that." You know, so
the game's lost its sense of humour. If he's coming out, how petty is that of him?
I don't think he should have come out with that, and because I'll tell you what, I think he picked on the wrong referee. Because Atkinson and I've known him for a number of years. He doesn't have arrogance around him. He's a quiet guy. He'll sit in a corner rather than actually be out front on anything. He's a quietish sort of guy.
He is, and for me, if you have that problem, I had it many years ago when I sent John Terry off, and after the game, knock on the door, he came in the dressing room. We sat down, we had a good chat about the decision and about the game, and that's what should happen. You know, they should come in the dressing room, knock on the door, come in, and what goes on in that dressing room stays in that dressing room.
Invite him in. I mean, you're unhappy with that decision? Look, we'll look at the DVD afterwards together. Come in. So you are opening, you're human. Or you actually say, look, at the end of the day, I've got my family up in the stand watching the game. They've come to watch you, is what I used to say to Gascoigne.
See, for me, I mean, I don't think they're allowed to watch the DVD after the game. But what's wrong in that? Look, bring. They've got the laptop's there. The game's on the laptop. Come in with your laptop. Let's sit there and let's have a conversation with the delegate involved.
And you're saying Martin Atkinson is not arrogant, despite the fact that one national newspaper says he earns more money than the Prime Minister.
Amazing.
150,000 a year. And yeah, I'm sure they do. But then a lot of people earn more money than the Prime Minister, don't they?
Yes.
And they really do. I mean, I'm probably looking at a couple now, but
earning more money and getting the golf handicaps down.
Yeah.
Right, so, I mean, just very quickly, because you've written a blog on the subject, you reckon that the controversy could have been avoided anyway, that goal line technology from Hawkeye just simply could stretch all the way along the goal line?
It's there, the technology's there, and it could avoid. Scott Ledger is a top-class assistant referee. And for me, and I'm sure Mark, and lots of people in the game, we suddenly say, why isn't Scott Ledger a FIFA assistant referee? Because he's been that good for the last 8-9 years.
I know why.
Well, we're not going there.
His face didn't fit.
Yeah, and well, the reality is he's not there. But he's got to watch the offside line. He's got to chase and run down to the goal line.
It's on the other side.
Exactly. And the truth is, he doesn't have a chance.
No. Let's come up to another decision over the weekend. This is Mark Clattenburg. This was Stoke City's 1-0 defeat at Crystal Palace. There was a bit of a hue and cry in the media on TV, claiming that Hammer's Mark Wilson should have been sent off for denial of goal-scoring opportunity. This was bringing down Fraser Campbell. Only a yellow card was given, but he was very wide going. So what?
I mean, I saw the incident, and I've got to say that I can't remember the girl's name of who was commentating on Match of the Day, but I suggest she sort of picks up the laws of the game and reads the laws of the game, because if she thinks that's a denial and he should have been sent off, well, I'm sorry, Mark got it absolutely spot on. It was a reckless challenge, didn't meet the criteria, laid down in law for a denial. Spot on, Mark Clattenburg, well done.
I'm tempted, without being cruel, to say that this offence took place almost in Tony Gale territory. Keith.
Yeah, I think we've been there before. I think the law was in its infancy, and so was probably I. Yeah. But I agree with Mark. I mean, I think it's so important that when you're commentating at a football match, that you have a reasonable degree of knowledge about the laws of the game. If you don't criticise an area, because out there in the middle is a guy who's not arrogant, but the one thing is, he's one of the world's top referees, and he's not going to make that error on denial. If she also looked at the previous week,
that's right.
That's exactly what he did, because that would fulfil the criteria.
Okay. In America, MLS, we'll look at that certainly as the ref shows go on. New season's about to start. Pro referees have been to a training camp. I believe they're going to clamp down on the technical area, but we're going to come to that in a future show. Meantime, just briefly we'll talk about Bury, and then we've got a storm warning. Yeah, we've got a referee storm warning to come. Just briefly, Bury, because I was there on Saturday, Gig Lane. They had a bit of a go, but Hull City, even with 11 changes, with a better team, won 3-1. Although a penalty that was awarded to Hull gave them 2-0 just after a Bury goal had been disallowed for offside. Bit of a theatrical fall.
Yeah, I understand that David Flitcroft was very unhappy with the. I think was it Darren Bond? I think
was the referee.
Yeah, and I've got to say he's most probably got calls for a complaint, because it looks a bit theatrical, and I think perhaps he could have got away without giving that.
You've got cause for complaint because your nephew George Miller was on the Bury bench. Yeah. And I know you were eager for him to come on. And three substitutions made. He's still sat there.
Oh no, he's done very well. He's got a great attitude, great pace, scores goals, and he's just got to bide his time. He's been, I think, 7 appearances on the bench. He's not got on yet. He'll get his chance, and when he does, he's got to take it. But he's got a great future. Great future.
Well, finally, a full Premier League programme in midweek, Tuesday night matches, some of which might have taken place before you actually watch this ref show. I know there's some eyebrows raised at some appointments, Keith.
Well, I mean, first of all, our top tier of referees are involved in a UEFA training camp, and that takes them away, and that now will show the vulnerability of the PGMOL and its appointing process. And some of the appointments, I think we are going to have a thunderstorm.
So it's a lack of depth, you're saying, that with these. Who are the guys that are at the training camp?
You've got Clattenburg, Atkinson,
Oliver,
Taylor, and Madley. Right. Obviously, he's a new FIFA referee, so he has to go.
Apart from Dean, all the top ones are out of the way.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting. It's a real challenge and a test for the others. It could be looked at the other way. So this is an opportunity for them, isn't it?
It's a chance for them. It's a chance to come and show the management, perhaps.
And prove you lot wrong.
Well, no. I mean, it's not about proving us wrong. It's about proving themselves, giving themselves the opportunity to do bigger games. And some of these referees have been on the Premier League since 2006, 2007. And if you look at their appointments, they've not done any big games. The big. And well, no, I mean the big, derbies, the Manchester derby, the Merseyside derby, the London derbies. They've not got themselves up into that category, and they've been on the list a long time.
Well, they're meandering. There's no churn. There's no pressure, because they know that whilst ever they're carrying a badge, and earning the money, they can do the job, and it doesn't matter because there's no accountability. Let's be quite clear. The thing that worries me about the PGMOL is a lack of churn. There's a supply chain problem. Younger referees coming through, we're not seeing them. There's this token gesture of certain guys, Stroud and others, getting 3 games. When Stroud proved himself he was good enough, why didn't he have more? And I think that these guys, they're not under pressure anymore. I think that they can just referee as they want.
We'll see what happens. We're interested in your points as well to youaretheref.com. We've had a fantastic email this week about abuse of a young referee in a junior game, and we'll have a chat about that next week. Meantime, thanks to Mark, thanks to Keith, and we'll see you next week. Bye.